Good morning, Anne.
Good morning, James.
And good morning, everybody. As always, hopefully you are all having a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week, whenever it is that you are listening. So, Anne, we are back. We are back from our trip to India.
Yes.
If you didn't know, a few of us have recently been over to India, northern India, for a whistle-stop 10-day tour. We flew from Manchester via Dubai to Delhi, and during our time there we saw New Delhi, Old Delhi, Agra with the Taj Mahal, down to Ranthanbore National Park to see the tigers, the Bengal tigers, around again to Jaipur, back to Delhi, and then via Dubai again back to Manchester in the UK. It really was a very interesting trip. I'm sure, Anne, we are going to reflect upon some of it this morning.
Yes.
We have only really just got back, so we are still absorbing and taking in all of our experiences, and I'm sure in the weeks and months to come we will, on various occasions, be reflecting on our journey.
Yes.
So, saying all of that, hopefully you are fascinated and interested to hear more. How are you feeling, Anne? Where would you like to start this morning?
With jet lag.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Is what we're starting with.
Yes.
Yes. Very reflective, really.
Right.
An experience I probably wouldn't have chosen in some ways, and in other ways would never, ever have been without. Double-edged sword, really, with this for me.
Right.
Is to... Because in a way it's a double edge, because by going to India it makes me appreciate the facilities we have in this country, which many times I've taken for granted.
Right.
To turn the tap on and have some water,
Right.
and not be afraid,
Yes.
is wonderful for me.
Yes.
Because we couldn't do that where we were. You couldn't turn the tap on and drink the water.
Nope.
We had to be very careful with the bottles that
So
they were sealed.
Absolutely. As with a number of countries, you
Yes.
can't drink the tap water,
No.
or they strongly advise you not to drink the tap water and to only drink either bottled water or filtered
Yes.
water. And in our country, the United Kingdom, you can
Yes.
drink the tap water.
So I do appreciate that. And
Yes.
we don't always think about that.
No, we don't.
I've had the most wonderful of times, and sometimes upsetting times while I've been there. Wonderful times where we did see the Bengal tigers.
We did see the Bengal tigers. We actually saw 4 tigers.
Yes.
Over one day, which is unprecedented.
Yes.
It really is unprecedented. We were so blessed and privileged to actually see not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Bengal tigers, not all at the same time, but throughout the course of one day, which it really was beyond words, beyond description, in terms of the majesty and the magic and the power of seeing these wild natural animals in natural habitat.
Yes.
Such a privilege, a real privilege.
And the excitement of the guide who had never seen them so close. They
Yes.
actually, 2 of them actually came round the truck itself.
Yes, the tiger's not the guide.
And I was lucky. I was at the back of the truck, and to have it walk so close that I could touch. And funnily enough, there was no fear.
No.
And that's what I would have expected. I would have expected a tiger being that close would have brought fear. But it didn't.
No.
And there were a few of us together, and I think I also saw the best in people in that truck.
Right.
Because everybody was saying, come here, come closer, you'll see it better from here. And we were all assisting each other.
Yes, people we knew and people we didn't know.
Yes, yes.
I felt we were all truly awestruck.
Yes.
And recognised the privileged moment that we were in.
Yes.
And we definitely, you're right, wanted to share that with each other. And we're moving out of the way for each other. We're lifting each other up.
Yes.
To be able to see, most importantly, but see particularly the Bengal tigers in their natural habitat being free, because they are free. And we were just there to observe respectfully. But wow, it really, really was an absolute wow.
Yes.
A real wow. And if you'd like to see some pictures, you can do, and some short videos on our social media platforms, Stride for Truth on Instagram and on Facebook. There are not many, but there are some, and some brilliant pictures and some fantastic images and short videos of the Bengal tigers particularly,
Yes.
but also as well, at this time, there are some of crocodiles.
Yes, crocodile.
Crocodiles, there's a few crocodiles there, and some wild deer as well. And there are some more pictures to come, because we also saw some owls, some wild boar, some wild peacocks. We weren't able to see any leopards, although the leopards were also there as well. I'm sure we could feel them as well, though.
Yes.
But we were spoilt with four Bengal tigers. It was absolutely amazing. So I hope you all enjoy those.
Yes, we're also lucky enough, weren't we, to see, and that sounds an awful word, what I'm going to say, is a tiger stalking a deer.
Yes. Oh,
That
wow.
was
Yes, we
incredible,
absolutely
wasn't
did.
it?
Yes. Just to give that some context. So in the afternoon, we saw a young male tiger. The guide that we were with said he was about 10 months old. So he was still with his mother, with his brother. There were two brothers and one sister with the mother. The sister had recently left the mother to become independent, and we met her, and she's in one of the videos on social media a little bit later on after this incident with the young male stalking the deer. And what we actually saw, we were following and we were with the tiger for a while at a distance, but I mean close, within, at times 10 metres, at times 50 metres. I mean, really, really close. And then at times with them walking up to the actual Jeep,
So,
half a metre, literally you could put your hand down and touch. I mean, you'd be brave to do that. We didn't do that, but it was close enough to do that. But when the tiger was stalking the deer, we could see it sometimes, and other times they're so camouflaged you couldn't see it, even though you were literally tracking it.
Slinky.
Yes, and you saw this deer on its own, completely unaware the tiger was there, completely unaware. And then on the moment you catch the tiger just slowly stalking forward, and then it would disappear into the camouflage. And this all took about 10 minutes. It was very, very still, very quiet. And until the deer actually caught a glimpse of the tiger, and you heard the shriek, the guttural shriek of the deer as it bellowed and quickly scarpered off fast, did a 180 and ran straight away, and the tiger half growled and went sort of to move forward and then backtracked. And our guide was explaining that the deer was fortunate that the tiger, the young male, was only 10 months old and was still learning how to hunt, how to kill, because very soon, like his mother, he will become a killing expert and the deer would have no chance.
Yes.
So we actually saw the apprentice learning how to capture its prey, and at this particular
But the
moment,
female had already learnt that.
absolutely. I think
The
there is a lot of
again.
truth in that as well, isn't there? That it takes roughly, and again I'm going off what the guide shared with us, about 3 years for a young tiger cub to mature, to become an independent male and to go off and mark his own territory and forge his own way. But it takes a young female tiger cub about 2 years, so about a year earlier for the maturity of the female. So the sister of the three had already gone off to become an independent female tiger, and the two brothers were still with the male. I think that maybe speaks a lot about males and females in certain ways,
It does,
which is
yes.
very interesting. And we were so privileged and blessed, as I've already said, to witness some of this and to meet these young tigers and to meet the mother as well.
Yes.
And to meet a large male tiger early in the morning. I mean, literally about 5 o'clock.
Yes.
No, maybe about 6 o'clock, 6:30, just as the sun was coming up in the morning. Before all of this, we met a large, about 9-10-year-old tiger, who we, again, had the privilege of meeting as he, during his exploration and his morning walk, walked behind the Jeep, right past you, Anne, in the morning.
Yes.
And that,
Yes.
I mean, this was an
into his eyes.
enormous tiger, an
Yes.
enormous male tiger, about 10 years old. I mean, it was a real Shere Khan moment. I mean, it was wow. It was absolute wow.
And we saw the Taj Mahal.
Yes. So these are some of
which
the
was
other highlights.
interesting. That was interesting.
Yes. So this was in Agra.
Yes.
The famous, one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Taj Mahal, which you ran round really quickly because you weren't too keen on how it felt, were you?
No.
Literally inside. You can go in, you can walk up to the Taj Mahal if you haven't been before, and you can walk round. But if you didn't know, it was built. I'm not an expert at all. I'm going off memory, but it was built by an Indian mogul, I think, in terms of a particular lord.
Was he a prince?
It was a king, prince, emperor, sort of a region, and for his recently deceased wife, she made him promise that he would build a monument to her memory that would surpass anything else in the known world. So he built the Taj Mahal, and he got some designers in, and he had various designers from around the world put forward their proposed plans for this new build for the belated memory of his recently deceased wife. She only died, I think, in her 30s. Again, I'm going off my memory. Don't use this for historical fact. Go off the passion and the feel. And the Taj Mahal was then constructed. And it took a number of years and many, many men. And you can walk up to it, you can see it, you can touch it, and you can walk around it as well.
And it's incredible to see when you walk through the large doors to get the view. Many of you will have seen Princess Diana.
Yes, the very famous image of Princess Diana sat on a bench.
And that's actually where you walk in. You walk in and you see the bench there and the water.
Well, that's in the lead up to it,
yes. In the lead up to it, yes. And then you see the building itself, which is incredible. It really is incredible to see. And the closer you walk to it, the more incredible it becomes, because you see all the etchings on it.
Yes, a marble wonder.
Yes.
One of the 7 wonders of the world.
And then you have the opportunity to go into, and it's a mausoleum. She's in there. It is which nobody talks about,
and that's
being
something
a mausoleum.
Many people I wasn't aware of specifically before going, that it's actually a tomb, isn't it?
Yes,
her remains
are in there.
Are in there, and actually his remains are.
Yes.
We were told that the plan was adjacent to the Taj Mahal. He had commissioned and wanted to build a black Taj, a black building from black marble, to hold his remains after he passed. But that was never constructed in time and didn't start in time, so his children had him
and the remains are still there
next
at
to
the
his
back
wife.
of the Taj Mahal, aren't they? The remains of the black building are still
the very
there.
beginnings of it.
Yes. So for me, as James was saying, I admired it greatly, like everybody else who saw the outside, and then we had the opportunity to go inside. And as I went inside, I can't explain to anybody the claustrophobia that I felt as I got in.
Yes, I was there too, and
with the feeling the lady herself, feeling her fear, feeling how she felt. And this is only to me, I'm not saying anybody else, and I'm not telling anybody I'm right about this, but I couldn't stay in. And you can imagine the crowds and the crowds in there, because obviously what we hadn't reckoned on is that people from Asia themselves go to these places.
Yes, there were thousands of tourists there from predominantly Asia, predominantly Indian. Yes,
and
we didn't have it to ourselves. It was packed, absolutely packed.
Yes. So and they don't give way for you, and I was running through through this to get out. I think I would have beat any of the athletes that
yes,
are running
you set
at the moment.
A new world record for running around the Taj Mahal.
Through crowds, because of the feeling of it. So sometimes the feelings are unexpected. That's what I'm saying. So we had many feelings, didn't we, when we were in India?
We did.
The wonderful ones with the Taj Mahal, and of course we'll never get over the Bengal tigers.
Yes.
But then other places we went to as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But my main feelings were with the conditions that people live in, not so much the people themselves, because obviously I did have feelings with people themselves, but the conditions that they're living in.
The literal living conditions. So the sanitation, the housing, the water.
The no housing.
The lack of housing. Lack of infrastructure, the quality of the roads, the air pollution. I mean, the air pollution was unbelievable.
You're eating it.
Yes, and particularly Delhi. On certain days, it's actually a threat to life, and you're not allowed out of the hotel. Fortunately, we just missed that, but it is a fairly common occurrence. that members of the public can't go out of their hotels or housing, particularly tourists, or it's certainly restricted in Delhi and other parts of India, but particularly Delhi, because the air pollution is so bad. And it really is bad, and it's tangibly bad, as in you can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, your clothes are saturated with it, your hair, the sort. I mean, it's terrible. It really is terrible. And I know that this is documented, but it is something that doesn't really hit home, and it's not something you have a comprehension of until you literally walk into it and start to breathe it. I mean, Delhi is a city that is upwards of 19, 20 million people. It's an enormous city, and the pollution levels, the traffic, the noise, it's really bad in comparison to what it could be, and maybe even what it should be in terms of an ideal situation. But the reality is the reality, and it really was a wake-up call, and it was a psychological shock, to be honest. The whole experience, in many ways, for myself, was a shock, a psychological shock. It wasn't completely surprising, but the experience was so different to anything that I've ever experienced before. I wasn't comfortable, and I didn't quite know how to place my feelings, because it was so challenging and so conflicting, and I at no point, including now, ever want to be disrespectful to any people or any land, because it was a privilege to be there, and it was so valuable an experience, and we had some wonderful memories, some really truly magical memories, but so much was a shock to the system, and I'm still processing that now, and it's very difficult to not over exaggerate this, because it's particularly Delhi, but the other areas as well. Everywhere we went, the living conditions were, in comparison to many parts of the United Kingdom, well, all of the United Kingdom in literal comparison, but so different. I mean, maybe you need to share some of how you feel. It's an emotional response this morning, particularly when I reflect back upon our recent visit there, because it's so shocking in so many ways.
Well, it's only days, isn't it? It's only days since we came back. That is the point.
Well, less than 24 hours, really, with jet lag. We've adjusting as best we can, and just deciding to record the podcast to make sure it comes out for all of you this morning.
Yes. For me, myself, is the lack of females, and I've been trying to think about it, the females.
Yes.
The female, and I think the female energy does, and I may be wrong in this, I'm not saying I am, the female energy in all countries balances things and changes things. It brings that little bit of, have you had a bath today? Have you washed your hair? Your mum saying things like that to you. Just ordinary general standards. Yes. Whereas in India, it was all men on the streets. No, the odd lady here and there.
Yes. If you haven't...
Yeah, nobody working no women working in the hotels.
Yes, if you haven't been before, that's a little bit of a shock as well. And again, just to be clear, I truly hope it isn't the case that we're coming across as respectful as possible. This is not from a place of disrespect or judgment. It's an observation, and because it's different, we can only speak about it in terms of our literal experience and interpret it and share it as best we can. And I'm sure that will evolve and change as the weeks and months and potential revisits to India and other places occur. So it's an evolving process, an organic process, but it's a male-dominated society. Many women around the world, maybe all women around the world, will say, well, go figure. Everywhere's a male-dominated society, but it's even more so in India visibly. And you're right, in the hotels, they're all male staff, not one female staff.
No.
This is including the receptionists, the housekeepers, the restaurant staff, the chefs, the managers, the room attendants, everything, security, all male. And pretty much 90% of the people you see, maybe more than 90%, out and about, even in the poorest of poor in terms of old Delhi or wherever, is male.
Yes.
And the only females you see generally, it's very, very rare you see a group of females out together. You see females with a family or females in a couple, but they're rare it's pretty much just men everywhere. And that's very, very different. It's very different.
Young men.
Mostly young men, you're
Young
right.
men.
Mostly young men.
On scooters, mainly scooters. Going round.
Yes, everybody seems to be on a motorbike, a scooter. They're everywhere, particularly in the cities. Delhi, absolutely. Motorbikes everywhere. And I mean everywhere, millions and millions of motorbikes. And I'm not exaggerating.
No. I think the other thing the one thing it did show me, and it was, for me, it was obvious at the end of the holiday, is that when we got there, and we were with people we didn't know because we were on a tour.
Yeah, so there were four of us who were going as friends as a part of what we're doing, and we were there to experience it for pleasure and also to learn and to grow and to interact, and we'd arranged a few things as well, which we'll talk about in the coming weeks, but also as part of a tour with other people that we didn't know, but from the United Kingdom as well.
Yeah.
So we had the pleasure of meeting those people as well.
So for me, it wasn't just the pleasure of meeting those people, it was looking at their reactions and comparing them to my own reactions and the other people within us, because it's such a shock to your system. You're not quite sure how you should be reacting, which sounds mad, but you're not quite sure how you should be. But when we arrived, the noise, I can't describe to anybody what the noise is like. It's horrendous.
Yes,
Horns,
the noise pollution
cars,
is beyond imagining.
You can't imagine it. Yeah, you couldn't explain it to you, but the noise is horrendous.
It's a constant drone of beeping horns,
and
because in
traffic.
India it seems to be their way of doing things. It everybody on a motorbike, a tuk-tuk, a car, any mode of transport with a horn is they're constantly beeping the horn all the time. And when they're overtaking, well, they undertake the traffic is awful, and the road etiquette is awful by our standards in terms of how we do things. It's complete and utter chaos, and it's a complete drone of noise and congestion and soot and smog and pollution. It's very, very difficult to describe accurately without even exaggerating. It's that wild.
But why I'm saying that is that when we got there, all of us, the whole party, all felt the same for a couple of days. You know, it was a case of going out again, and we've got to go through all that, and it takes hours to get anywhere. But what I said at the end of the holiday, isn't it wonderful how one's mind adjusts? I was talking about this, and your hearing adjusts, that you stop hearing it as much. By the time we were coming back to the airport,
out of it to
you
some
tune
degree.
out.
You do, yes.
So that shows me how much we can tune out of situations, and that takes it to another level of how much do we tune out of situations, even in this country.
That's a good point, well made.
So that's a point that we can discuss this another time. But that's what I found very, very interesting, the tuning out from all of us, not just myself.
Yes. And it's so enormous to face. In many ways, it's unfaceable.
Yes.
So you have to incrementally face it. And I feel even in our conversation this morning, we're starting to articulate our absorbed feelings and experiences of the last 10, 11 days over in India. And it's the tip of the iceberg. And I feel that we will have many conversations, maybe next week and the weeks to come, or we may have a break and revisit our experiences in India. But we visited Ranthanbore National Park, we visited temples, we visited sacred sites, we visited many hotels.
It wasn't the astronomical site
wonderful?
Wonderful?
We visited the Pink City in Jaipur. We had lasting memories, and I would describe it as an extremely valuable experience for myself, and I'm sure from you and the other people there. Everybody was talking about it in terms of an extremely interesting, valuable and intense, extremely intense, because of the amount of distance we travelled and the time we did it in. But I was shocked, and I do want to communicate that to people, that it was a shock in terms of, and what that means maybe we'll talk about to come, but the quality of the roads, it's a mess.
Non-quality.
Yes, most roads are full of potholes, worse than the UK. But to be honest, the UK is getting there. So it's But the rubbish is everywhere. That's another thing that is such an immediate and dramatic backdrop to everything, as well as the pollution. I mean, across the country, there's rubbish everywhere. They're literally on the floor. Just it's plastic wrappers, rubbish, feces, animal and human. It's wow. It really is a shock. It's a real shock. Now, I don't want to be too one-sided, because we did have some fabulous experiences and we met some wonderful people and we heard some fascinating and enlightening and wonderful stories. But wow, it's so different. Yeah, it is a psychological shock. I'm still processing it, and I'm sure that that's coming across as clear. In many ways, it was upsetting, but sometimes that can come across as condescending or disrespectful, and I sincerely do not mean that at all. From a human perspective, it upset me to see it like that, and I asked many questions, but I also I've done as much reading as I can, and to listen to many people that know far more about it than I do directly. But there's something like anywhere between 800,000 to 1.5 million street children in India, where they have no parents, they just live on the streets, just children. And we met quite a few of them, and I mean, they are covered in muck, walking around, babies being carried around by other children. It's shocking. It's shocking to the point that you don't know what to do. You don't know, and if you interact with them, the guide will say try not to interact with them because they won't leave you alone, which is true, and they don't leave you alone. They could walk around anything if you stayed in a particular village or town, hours if you didn't leave at all, but they will be with you, walking around with you.
It's heartbreaking.
How do you deal with that? I don't know how to deal with it. I feel like sometimes we dealt with it wisely, sometimes not wisely, but I hope always it was dealt with a true empathy and compassion. I was heartbroken, and I'm still heartbroken now, because I couldn't do anything about it, and I don't know what to do about it as an immediate and obvious response to it, and it was so upsetting. India's got millions and millions of stray dogs as well, which actually seem the happiest and the most healthy of people and creatures out of everybody that we met.
And cows.
And cows, yeah. The cows don't look so healthy.
They don't.
The dogs look the healthiest out of the people, the cows. And the tigers look pretty healthy as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say other than wow, what an experience. What an experience. I suppose a culture shock, a cliche to say, but a truth to express, a real culture shock. And a warning, to be honest with you, in many ways. And it's such a contrast. I was speaking to the people that we were on the trip with, and they were the same, like you've already identified, and we're trying to process it whilst we're there, and it's too much, it's overwhelming. But this is the fastest growing economy in the world, if not the fastest, one of the fastest, something like 8% a year currently, give or take. Again, that may be slightly off, depending upon which set of data we're looking at. But India definitely is one of the world's fastest growing economies, if not the fastest. It has the world's largest population, just overtaken China, something like 1.5 billion people, give or take, something like that. It's going through something of an industrial revolution in that its manufacturing and production's going through the roof, its investments going through the roof. Yet there's such abject poverty and such low living standards and such terrible conditions in terms of air quality, water quality, sanitation, education in so many areas. We're talking about millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of children here. It's incomprehensible. And also, whilst we were there, which we can talk about, Putin was visiting Modi.
Yeah.
Whilst we were actually there in Delhi, fairly early on, that the president of Russia was coming over to visit and have a summit with the president of India, Modi. And the armed forces were out and the police were out for that, and they were even attempting to clean up some parts of the city for that. I mean, it's such a surreal experience that we went through. Yeah, I've spoken for a while there, Anne. I hope you all are gaining some sense, mostly through feelings, as to how we've experienced it. Is there anything you'd like to say before finishing this morning, Anne?
I'd like to just say before we finish I'd like to talk a little bit about the cows themselves.
Yes.
This sacred animal. And I know we've talking about the children and everything else, but these cows actually know how to get into a plastic bag to get food out of it.
I know.
I was
And
watching
we saw
on the
that
side,
many
I was
times.
watching them open plastic bags on the road to find food, and they're supposed to be sacred, and they're in such a poor condition. And my heart went out to them, because people, they say they're sacred, but people just walk past them, and they are undernourished. And then the other thing that we found out, I asked somebody what happened to the milk, because obviously a cow's in a great deal of pain when it needs milking, like
Yes.
we are as women. And as a
Right.
woman, I know what that feels like. And I did ask what happened to the milk, and he said people came and milked them, and some of the people on the streets milk them for them to have milk themselves, which will be a very poor quality. But they were saying they're the largest milk exporter in the world. That's what they were saying, weren't they, about the milk itself?
Yes, something like that. You're
Something
right.
like that.
Definitely in Asia, I think.
Asia, yeah.
I think
and
so.
that's mad. That's
I think
madness
that's
to
correct,
me,
yes.
that everybody's
Something
so
like that,
poor, and these cows are they're exporting the milk. They're using the cows for the milk, but they're not fed properly.
Well, as far as I can tell, they are just left to roam free around the squalor and the filth that is there in the cities. And these cities are ginormous. I mean, they're not like UK cities. If you think that London is about 8 million, 7, 8, 9 million, depending upon where you draw the boundary, give or take. And we're looking at many, many, many Indian cities in the tens of millions. And we went to Delhi, the political capital, the capital. Something like 20 million people. Probably more than that, because many of them, millions of them, don't live in what we could feasibly call a house. They are shacks or huts, or just on the ground,
tarpaulin,
or just
really. Lots of it's tarpaulin and corrugated
people
iron.
sleeping in between traffic junctions and things, and under bridge. I mean, it's incomprehensible. And there's such enormous wealth in India as well. We didn't have a chance to visit Mumbai, which is the financial capital of India, and where there are huge investments taking place and huge business taking place, as there is in Delhi as well. And India is giving rise to many millionaires and many billionaires as well. So such a polarised society, like much of the world in some respects, but I mean the most extreme I've ever witnessed, literally. I've heard about it, and it's the most extreme, and it was shocking, and I've said that many times, and I am shocked by it. And my heart goes out to all of those children who were there, and to all the children around the world. And it sounds like a cliche, but it really, really is hit home the enormous task that's ahead of us, that we already knew, but it's really hit home in terms of alleviating all the unnecessary suffering and wickedness in this world, if for nothing else, for every single child of every country across this world, because the world is in a mess. And India certainly is in, from our experience, and from the people that live there, from speaking to people, a literal mess. And full of corruption, like many countries around the world. But also, such a rich cultural history, the food, some of the people we met, particularly the experiences with the tigers, the stories. It was such a valuable experience, and I feel that that's the best way for me of encapsulating it. It was an experience of deep and rich value. It's given such a wonderful contextual field for comprehending my own personal life a bit better. It's been a shock to the system. I'm so glad that I went, and I hope that it will bring greater value into my life, and I can make a greater value in everybody else's life because of it. But I don't really know what to say. I'm searching for words to best describe it, because it was so different, so shocking, and sometimes so wonderful, and a lot of the time so upsetting.
Yes, I agree.
And I hope that has come across this morning, an emotional response from both of us. And maybe it's best in the weeks and months to come, Anne, that we maybe revisit this and reflect upon it.
Yes.
And as we give our experiences time to absorb and we can process what we've been through and speak to people about what we've been through and reflect upon the pictures and the stories and the laughs that we had. Because we did have some really good times as well.
We did, yeah. We were a very good group of people.
Yes, we were very, very blessed and fortunate all the way through for so many reasons. Well, there you go. I hope you have enjoyed listening. I trust that you have. And maybe you have some questions that you would like us to explore about our time in India and our time, we've been to other places as well, and we can talk about that. And we are planning to go to many places around this world and to face what's going on, good and bad, all around this world and at home as well.
And I'd like to say we had a wonderful experience as well in Gandhi's museum.
We did, and we can talk about that, I think. That's one thing I was going to mention, that we did visit the Mahatma Gandhi house where he used to live and his memorial, and reflecting upon that and seeing how things have changed, and in many ways seeing how things have not changed at all, and maybe even worse.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was a very moving, powerful experience. We'll have to revisit this, Anne, because there's so much. Maybe we'd have to talk about it day by day while we were there, so we don't forget everything. I suppose this was just an outpouring of emotion and feeling and reflection. And thank you to India for having us. And thank you to the people that we met and the people that opened themselves up to us in their lives. It was such a wonderful, rich experience, one that I truly value, and I am grateful that I've had.
Me too.
But it was extremely challenging. Okay, everybody, thank you for listening. That was a longer than usual podcast this morning, Anne.
It was. Could go on for hours about it.
I know, and maybe we will. We will.
If they'd like to ask questions, please do.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, please do. Well, there you go. Thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful Sunday, a wonderful rest of the week if you're listening during the week. Or if you're listening again, thank you. And thank you, as always, for your support, for sharing the podcast, for talking about it. And if you feel it's of value, please keep listening. Please send in some comments. Please like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, the usual process, because it really does help to get this out there to other people. And as long as some of you, and hopefully many of you, and why not all of you, feel that it's of value, we will continue to record these podcasts. And we can't do it without you. As much as we enjoy talking, we're doing it so that we can share it with you and build a community of value. And hopefully you all feel that. And I trust that you do.
Yes.
But truly thank you all. It's your support. It's your community. It's our community together. Well, have a wonderful week, as I've already said. And we look forward to being with you and speaking with you again next Sunday morning.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.